on.
Because
I'm
ain't
not
nobody else
taking
doing that.
responsibility for Sexyy Redd. That ain't got nothing to do with me, man.
That's your
Like,
culture.
yo, like, y'all playing this shit on the radio? Like,
Facts. What's next on the bracket, Ty?
All right. So the next topic we got is we'll call it virtue or vice, sex violence and a new morality war in hip hop. So hip hop sits in an escalating morality crisis where spectacle overrides substance. There's hypersexual imagery, violent bravado, this displays of hyper wealth and that dominate visibility, viral pregnancies, high profile beefs, industry abuse allegations, and that speaks to somewhat a moral decay in hip hop. And I guess the question and for this topic is drawing, there's a couple of fault lines. Like, is it personally, are we, as a culture responsible for that moral decay and, or is it partly due to market incentives or algorithms or identity pressures and stuff like that? So just a couple of questions just to open up the discussion. What shared moral scripts connect hypersexual branding, violent bravado, and hyper wealth? So,
No, I don't. Who wants to go first? Anybody? Skill?
I mean, I can go, but I'm trying to. Which question do you want us to address first?
Let's just go. Let's go down the list. So first, let me give you guys some recent news to go off of. So Sexyy Redd recently called herself the hood fertility goddess, and
The what?
in public.
The hood fertility goddess.
What type of shit is this? Go ahead, Tom. What does that even mean, Lord? Like,
Oh,
I was saying,
shout out to Sexyy Redd, man.
So
what
to
does that mean?
Some people are going to say that's unapologetic motherhood. Others is going to say that's degeneracy. You straight up degenerate.
It depends on the mindset. Is they wrong for that? Is they wrong for calling this motherhood? People who think like that, are they wrong for calling it motherhood, man?
So I think I missed it. Is she actually pregnant? What's going on?
She's pregnant.
Okay.
Okay.
Looks like her fifth baby.
Damn. She got starting 5. Okay.
Like, I don't know which number it is.
Shout out to
hey, yo, more power to
Queen. Yo. Shout out to Queen Sexyy Redd.
Yo, more power to it, yo.
Let me.
This shit is so problematic. Go ahead, fam. I'm gonna answer it. I can feel niggas in the comments now, like, oh, this wrong with niggas now. Ooh, like, all right. I'm gonna go there though. Fuck it. Go ahead.
So, and let me. I want to clear up one I want to add one other thing, is a couple other things. So Drake and Metro Boomin have had some tension recently. That kind of is not the same as Sexyy Redd, but it's still something that bravado, that toxic at least can be dysfunctional. Diddy's abuse allegations that have, new allegations that have come up, and his past allegations.
What new allegations in the jail?
I think they
Diddy,
just. I think they got another one coming at him.
The dealer need to stop.
He ain't gonna stop.
I mean, he in a place called Fort Dix. Like,
yeah, pause.
Yeah. So,
that nigga's at home.
Let's get this hyper. So, somebody, I think, like, what I'm gonna say is, it's easy to point the fingers at the market or algorithms or industry, but we got to take responsibility.
Hold on.
Because ain't
I'm
nobody
not
else
taking
doing
responsibility for Sexyy Redd. That ain't got nothing to do with me, Lord.
That's your culture.
Hold on.
That's not my culture, Lord. Hey, yo.
Hold on.
That's not my culture at
Let's
all.
get back. Let's get back to Queen Sexyy Redd, man.
Oh.
Shout out to Sexyy Redd, man. Shout out to Sexyy Redd.
Hey,
I'm not gonna let y'all you know what I'm saying, dog her out like that. You feel what I'm saying? Skills, let me know. Tell the truth about it, man. Speak the peace.
All right, fam. I'm gonna try to say this I'm gonna get flamed regardless. So fuck it. We gonna go there. Look, yo. Shout out to her, yo. She making her money. She doing her thing, yo. She playing that role, yo. Now, I'm not gonna say that women like that don't exist. I'm from Garrison, my G. I've seen the Sexyy Redd prototypes. You know what I mean? But my thing is like this, bro. I feel like what she represents and what she stands for as an artist, I don't understand how a lot of this is getting played on the radio, bro. Even the clean versions are extremely vulgar, bro. You know what I mean? And not just for her, for Nicki, for Cardi. Like, I remember when WAP first came out, it was like, yo, like, y'all playing this shit on the radio? Like, this is crazy, bro. You know what I mean? Like, and I think that it's not my place to tell anybody else what to do, but I do think that for the sake of the youth, like, there was a time where youth could be raised on and in hip hop. I don't really know if rap music is really a safe space for the youth right now. You know what I mean? Like, I've seen Cardi on live and her WAP song came on and her child was in the background and she turned it off. You feel me?
Yeah,
so it's like, okay.
that. I remember
like,
that.
And I'm glad that she turned it off, but it's like, you know that you're making shit that's going to be played where there's mad different, you feel me? There's going to be all different age ranges, but you know that that's not for them. But I do think that responsibility and accountability needs to be taken, you feel me? Like we were talking about this briefly last week, right? When we were talking about like, or I think me and Adam L probably had a side conversation about, about people buying music. You feel me? And how like once people started to be able to illegally download music, that kind of hit the underground something different because when there used to be a level playing field because people were going out and buying indie rap and were willing to pay $10 to buy an indie rap album. Once you get it for free, that you feel me? That gives the label less incentive to go support that. You know what I mean? So there's a machine and there's industry backing for that type of behavior and the type of things that she promotes. You know what I mean? And I think too, like Tupac said that artists should be held accountable. You feel me? But I feel like that was a way different era. And I feel like during his era, artists were more so held accountable. Now, rap is more so being treated like a side hustle and a get rich quick scheme. And it's like, I'm not here to educate. I'm here to get paid. Not per se, but a lot of the MCs or rappers that we see nowadays. You know what I mean? But as far as like, I just think that there needs to be a level playing field, bro. It can't be trap music and coochie rap all day, every day. Like, there needs to be moderation, bro. This shit is getting out of hand.
Let me ask y'all this, though. Do y'all think that she's like some type of industry plant? Because I remember Leo Colin was on Breakfast Club like a couple years back, and somebody was like, why do you, want to promote genocide, basically black genocide through your music?
Yeah, he said because I got bills. He said because I got bills.
Yeah, so
you can disrespect a nigga all day.
Yeah,
we'll probably get back on a billboard with some rap music.
Yeah, that's
I'm sorry, y'all gonna have to sense a hell of shit for real.
now to play that is, bro. Now to say to be somewhat to play the devil's advocate, I will say the algorithms do reward spectacle over. So that stuff, that hypersexuality, beef, all of that type of stuff that earns clicks is what's promoted. So like there's a market incentive from an organizational standpoint to promote that. But it does come down to personal integrity as an artist. Is like, why are you willing to be just a plant and just do things that's going to poison your people? Like if would you say Cardi B
before she started rapping?
Say that again.
She was probably shaking her ass for free before she started rapping, and then found out that she can get bread by doing that in this medium. Fam. How I look.
I guess, yeah.
I guarantee you that
Then
she
so
was
does
doing
that
all
come
of that
on
ratchet
us
shit.
that as people that we shouldn't be supporting that? Like we shouldn't be buying, like if you're gonna put in there and be poisoning our communities, because some communities, right? If you putting haram in their communities, they gonna get you out of there. You come in a Muslim community, you opening up liquor stores and stuff like that, they gonna get you out of there.
Yeah, it depends on the community, but you got our Arab brothers putting liquor in our communities. They know better. You know what I'm saying?
Somebody selling pork. I'm like, you're not
Exactly.
even supposed to be able to touch pork.
Exactly.
Why you offering me pork, God? Like,
Exactly.
That's it,
So
Yeah.
but here's my thing though. Should we look at it? And Jammer One, you can elaborate on this one, right? And also elaborate on what you think about the introduction. Should we look at it as entertainment, like going to see a movie? Should we blame the actors the same way? You feel what I'm saying? Like when Menace to Society came out, right? I know that's probably a little bit back for some of us here, but you know, should we blame Old Dog and Kane for wanting to be like them? You know what I'm saying? Like it's entertainment. I mean, your mindset you should have the IQ capacity to know what's fictional and what's not, what's entertaining and what's not. You feel what I'm saying? So you go out and you mimic what you just saw, then that tells a lot about your IQ. You know what I'm saying? And but to be fair, you know, the brain don't develop to a certain point in your life. So a lot of people went to go see Minister Society in New Jack City and really thought they was acting out that character or inspired them to want to be like that. So Jam, I want you to cook on this one.
I think that when young people see and hear things that they like, they want to emulate it. And it's up to parents really to educate their children, because when we were young, NWA came out, gangster rap started, right? I listened to as much gangster rap as the next man, but I never wanted to act it out. I looked at it as entertainment.
Let me ask
You
you
got
this real
some
quick. Let me ask you
individuals.
this real Let me ask you this real quick. Could you play it in your house or did your mother like cut it off? Because I couldn't play Snoop Dogg in my house. I couldn't play Easy E. You know what I'm saying? I had to turn it down.
Man,
My uncle could play
I
it, but I
I
couldn't play it.
wasn't playing it around my mother. I would go outside. I would play it in the Walkman or something. My mother wasn't around. She wasn't hearing it. That's another thing. But like I was saying, it's like it really just depends on the person. Some people wanna be that gangster rapper. You know what I mean? Because it emulates, not emulates. What's the word?
Imitate?
It resonates with them.
Yeah.
Yeah. It makes you want to go out and punch somebody in the face.
Right.
Some of those songs. You know what I mean? And if you're not the kind of person that's intelligent enough to just take it as entertainment, then it's going to do something to you.
Like Crime Mob. What's that song they came out with? I'll beat your ass or something like that.
Nuck if you
Nuck
buck.
if you buck, boy.
Yeah,
Nuck
but
if
it's
you
another
buck.
one too. I'll beat your ass, remember? I'll beat your ass. Beat your
That's
ass.
Crime
I
Mob.
never heard that one.
Yeah, look, yeah, it's comical to me because you know what I mean. People got effed up
They
behind that
ass
nigga.
whipped
Well,
too.
look,
Yeah.
That's the end of club type of situation.
Yeah, come
Man.
on, yo. A lot of people got that ass whooped. They paid the price of admission to get that ass whooped.
Just
You
for that.
know, prime mob in town, yo. Stay home. You gonna get your ass whooped.
That's it.
I've seen something like that before. I was at a show or whatever, and in between people performing, they started playing different songs. And then Look at Me by XXXTentacion came on. Yo, you had 5 seconds to get out of there before that bass drop. And if you didn't get out of there before that bass drop, you was just stuck in the mosh pit. I got stuck in the mosh pit, yo, because my mans was throwing the show and he had booked some performers who brought instruments, and these niggas ain't leave when they were supposed to. So I become default security with my other homeboy. So we trying to protect the instruments and protect the niggas with the instruments. And it's like 60 people in front of us in a mosh pit. So we get stuck in the mosh pit and it's nothing but Denzel Curry and X songs. Never again, my G.
Look, I know we had a lot of heat for the fella, not the Sexyy Redd, but even the fellas, we like the Drake and Metro Boomin thing. A lot of that type of beef is petty, and a lot of like kids, a lot of kids and teenagers, especially coming from single parent homes, that's their first display of conflict resolution and emotional regulation and stuff like that. And it's like if and a lot of them look to artists, you know what I mean? Even though we people with two parent household or would say you shouldn't be looking to your artists for a role model, but they do. So
crazy thing is, I knew kids who had two parent households with parents that are like doctors and lawyers. They still wanted to be a part of the streets.
Right. Even more so sometimes. Even more
That's crazy right there.
Yeah.
We see that all the
nice
time.
leather couches and all.
So it's like,
Look at
how
the
much?
Look at the white kids in the suburbs, bro. That says it all right there.
Right.
Mhm.
That's
Right.
a big part of it because think about like things like shows like The Wire. There was a reason why that was bigger than just in the hood. That was more than just watched there. Everybody watched it. That was on the whole. So a lot of people are tuning into the music for the same reason. It's like a glimpse into the lifestyle that they'll never be able to see up close. So that's another driving factor of it. And see, that's part of the reason why they was always fearful about it. But music's so powerful and we able to do so much in it. You know what I mean? You can able to throw all types of subliminal messaging. You can program. There's a lot that goes on with that has this ability. So you're right. We do need to have a certain amount of responsibility that goes with it because we're seeing the effects of it. Because a lot of these people now, like my parents wouldn't listen to that. You know what I mean? So I had to watch what I was listening to. But meanwhile, there's people right now that's coming up with their kids right now listening to that 24/7. So there's no filter to say, nah, that's not reality. That's pretty much it. That becomes their reality. So now people just live it in that world like. It's turning to GTA now.
Let me ask you this.
So Ty, go ahead, man.
Wouldn't that trend come along, man, without black women when they wearing pajamas and stuff?
Talking about the bonnets and all that?
Yeah, bro. Like, come on, man.
Like a beehive on you.
You know what I'm saying? Listen, I gotta play both sides of the fence, but come on, like, you come outside dressing like the dang Grinch. You feel me? Like, come on, bro. And you're supposed to have people supposed to look at you as some type of high role model, whatever. I think this music, all jokes aside, I think this music, bro, coming from the female perspective, when we get on Drake a little later, right? But coming from the female perspective, it's like it lowered the black woman from her status. You know what I'm saying? And it's sad because it's not a monolith. It's not all black women, but that's all they see in public is the bonnets, the stupid looking slippers, you know what I'm saying? And underwear in public. And then they got their little daughters wearing that stuff. And I blame Sexyy Redd for everything, bro. I blame Sexyy Redd for the fall of humanity, bro. I blame her for every little thing.
Look, you can't. My thing is, you cannot have power without accountability. There's a long-term cost for what you do when you have a platform, right? And we are part of a community. I know in the U.S., we it's a I culture, and we don't like to think that we're part of a community, but we are. You see what I'm saying? And what you do has an effect on people. So if you're going out there promoting, saying stuff like, you the hood fertility goddess and you making single, getting single motherhood and ratchetness and all of that popular, you gotta account for that at some point. You have to atone. You can't just be like, oh, I'm just making the music and I'm just collect. And I understand that's probably who she was before that time, but you still got a responsibility. At some point, you got to take accountability.
What's the name of her lip gloss, bro?
chlamydia, something like
Oh, you talking about the different joints? So some of them are named after STDs. I
that.
think one is booty hole brown or some shit like that.
Oh,
Come
man.
on. Come
Like,
on.
this is crazy.
Come on.
She got one. She got one. Gonorrhea green.
Come on.
And,
You
yo,
know what I'm
and look,
saying? Look,
I'm
though,
not gonna sit here in front,
Was
bro.
she trolling?
I don't think she tried. I think she real life like that. But my thing is like this: if if we was at a party and I'm looking for the hoes, come on, like her music, it do go up, bro. Her music in that type of setting, it does go
yeah.
up. It's just unfortunate that it's in everybody's face like that, and it's all over the radio and the youth. You feel me on TikTok? Like it's just unfortunate. You feel me? Like her shit would have went crazy on BET. What was that shit back in the day? Yo, BET Uncut. Yeah, bro. Like that. That's where that shit need to be at when the
Yeah.
children
Well,
can't
Secret Tip
access
is
it or
that.
not supposed to access it. You feel me? Like that's where that type of shit need to be at. You
Right.
feel me? But as far as your thing with Drake, are you saying that we shouldn't rap beef or we need to rap beef in a more respectful way? What are you saying exactly?
I'm saying like, okay, so I understand rap beef is like sometimes like a contest of authorship and authenticity, and the crowd is like, you know, kind of the arbiter, and they dig through. It's like data literacy and some respect, right? Like, but what I'm saying is that grown men shouldn't be crashing out. If you 30 and 40, you shouldn't be crashing out and being petty on a global scene where younger men, younger boys are looking at you and trying to emulate you, whether you intended that or not. That's the role model that like I don't think we should normalize it, because I don't see, at least in my opinion, I don't see that happening in other genres of music. Like some of the stuff that the extreme violence and machismo and sexual extremes that we go to, I know it's shaped by, like, you know, the economics and the algorithms and some degree, but come on, y'all got you can't do that. I know they reward that, but it's like at some point you got to have integrity and say, you know what, I'm not going to do that, because look, I got a little brother, I got a little cousin that's going to look at this, and I don't want to. If did you say skills earlier where Cardi B, her own music, she had turned it off
Yeah, she with the quickness she turned it off. She was
with
on
the
live
quickness?
and she turned it off with the quickness because her
Okay.
child was in the background.
So it's not the artist who at fault. I get it. You know what I'm saying? Whatever they do, right or wrong, but it's the parents' fault. Head. They should censor their stuff. You know what I'm saying? There's an old saying, you don't like my music, cut it off.
But
You
like
get what I'm saying?
what Skill said, like the MTV Unplugged, right? Why is it that that industry is even allowing this type of salacious behavior to be
Because that's
going
what they want
on?
from us. That's what they want from us. So they're gonna promote that. You feel me? Like I got a homeboy right now who come to he supports Baltimore boom bap, you feel me? And he supports lyricism and he got a real serious feeling about NBA Youngboy. I haven't listened to enough of NBA Youngboy to even develop that level of just distaste, you feel me? But he really don't like that because he felt like NBA Youngboy is inspiring his son to be a YN, you know what I mean? And he very much so is like, you know, I'm trying to tell him to do something different and that's not cool. But because of social media and because of this large following NBA Youngboy has, he want to do and follow everything that that person do because that's his favorite rapper. You know what I
Right.
mean? And it's like, I do think that that's detrimental for real because like if we can't be spinning all day, like I don't know if you saw the when Drewski came to Baltimore for the could have been records trials, right? But he let a bunch of some young dudes walk in there and he was like, what do y'all do? And it's like I rap.
Yeah,
One
yeah,
nigga
yeah. I
was
remember
called
that.
Murder, the other nigga was called well, I forget what else they was called, but you know, those are the type of names that they presented themselves with. And basically he was like, what else do y'all want to do other than rap? It was like we just want to spin all day. And it's like that is the mentality that a lot of young people are developing or at least trying to portray. And it's like, yo, how you gonna spend all day? First of all, there's 24 hours in a day. You telling me that you trying to catch a hat all day, every day? And then, like, what's the positive thing about that? Like, most of the people that you probably trying to trying to spin on you, feel me? Probably people that look like you. Like there's a very anti-black agenda and rhetoric that's being pushed within our art form. You know what I
Right.
mean? And it's very self-destructive. I agree with you that this type of shit needs to be stopped, but it's like we don't control the algorithms. You can tell somebody not to do something, not to listen to something, but sometimes you tell somebody not to do some shit that make them want to do some shit more
Or more.
Yep.
or listen to it more. You feel me? So it's like,
But
what
we
can we
can't
do?
look, we can't blame other people for our moral decay in our community if we're not willing to be serious. You see what I'm saying? If we're not willing to be morally serious, we can't blame other people.
Okay, first of all, who are the role models in the black community? That's why you gotta look at.
The
Most of us come,
rappers, the
most of us come from single parent homes, unfortunately. And nowadays, if you have two parents in the house, they probably child minded themselves. You
or
know what
they
I'm saying?
overworked and they ain't in the house.
But I feel like we
Yeah.
just in a different area because, like in my area growing up, of course, we looked up to the people that we saw who had money. Now, the people that we saw who had money, or what we considered to be money at us at that young age, you feel me, was the people that was outside doing things that you wouldn't consider to be reputable. But these are the people that they the ones with the women, they the ones with the jewelry, shit like that. But the quote unquote OGs on our blocks used to tell us go to school. You feel me? Don't be out here. Don't do this. I better not catch you doing X, Y, and Z. Everybody is not fortunate enough to have those type of people. You feel me? Instead of trying to recruit us, they trying to make sure we don't do the certain shit that they do. You feel me? You know what I mean? But not everybody is
Right.
fortunate enough to have that.
And look, if we going, and that's the other thing. I think somebody touched on this a week ago or so, but it's like it's a difference between, like if you must, add that salaciousness and ratchetness or hyper violence in your music, don't glorify it. You know what I mean? Don't make us, like that drill culture, that drill music is crazy. It is some of the most demonic music that I have ever heard in my life. Like I respect it as an art form, but when you listen to New York drill fans, it's so dark and grungy. I'm not a gangster, but I want to pick up a gun and go spin the block. You know what I mean?
Man, so they ready to catch a hat.
I'm gonna let Bizzle and then Gov cook. But I don't know, man. Maybe we sound like a whole bunch of old men, especially you, Ty, when you're talking about that drill music, man. You sound old, bro. You know what I'm saying? Get with the times, man.
Oh no. We gotta be serious, fellas.
Right.
I'm gonna let Gov go first.
We've always had elements of that though, always had it in the past. Like even the different forms, but see, we had it in we used to have to go in different venues to go get it though. Like say the Sexyy Redd type shit you had to go to a particular place to go see her in action and go hear that and to go do that. You know what I mean? Same thing with everything else. Even back in the day when they had blues and such, you had to go to the blues. So, you had to go down there and listen to that in order to get it. But now everything is so accessible now that even say you talk about like a two-parent household and a single parent, it's like almost the same now because kids got access to everything coming through, like through all the devices and such. They can access things that you don't even know you didn't even know that even existed. You know what I mean? But all this music and everything like that you think that you're filtering away from the main places, they still get access. So you can't beat a lot of that. So I think a lot of that has to go with what type of example we can actually do in person. But we have limited time, you know what I mean? And a lot of time the influence is already there. The seeds are already planted in the minds. So that's why, you know what I mean? I understand the whole aspect of things. You could be like, yeah, I was showing you everything else, and the first thing you jump to is NBA instead, you know what I mean? So that's just what it is. And then the same thing when you think about girls now, because before we didn't have the inundation like we have now. So I hate to see what things look like, say, 5, 10 years from now, when these like 7-year-old girls now are like 17. We done.
Done.
I feel like honestly, if you are above the age of 15, you are grown and responsible enough to decide the music you're listening to if you're going to act upon that music or not. You know what I mean? Now I know it's not totally black and white, but me being younger, just because I listened to Linkin Park or I listened to my favorite rock band, I didn't want to cut myself. You know what I mean? Just because I listened to King Von, I didn't want to go put on a shiesty mask and go out, in Baltimore City. You know what I mean? And start shooting invisible ops. I feel like there's some type of responsibility as us. We should keep ourselves. There's no role models. I will say, there's people that guided us to a better path. But
Bezel, reason why you didn't do that, 'cause I kick you out the house, but
yeah, and that too. But there's no real role models. You know what I mean? Just like kind of how Kendrick said on Mr. Morale, on the song Savior, he was basically touching on basically like no artist, no celebrity is here to save you. Basically, there's no role model. There's no one role model for the black community. There's no one black politician. There's no one black hip hop artist. There's whoever you as a person, yourself first. You are your own role model, and anyone else, whether it's social media, any celebrity, people in your personal life, you look at as a personal influence or someone you take guidance from. You know what I mean? But me, you should be able to act accordingly. Personally. However, I will end off with this. When I see certain people at my place of work or just outside or even online, I might walk past a coworker or somebody, um, and they're playing like Lotto or they're playing NBA Youngboy. You know what I mean? So but
these adults.
yeah, but see, these people, they dress the part, they look the part. And then you might go somewhere in Short Pump or Columbia, Maryland. They're playing Justin Bieber and pop music, right? I feel like it's really how the parents are raising the kids, your interest in your friends, and it's a little bit of you internally yourself. You know what I mean? Because your parents can raise you as best as they can. You know what I mean? I don't know who said it on the panel, but your parents could be a lawyer, your parents can be um a firefighter or a cop, and you still want to listen to NBA YoungBoy. You still want to go out there, and beef with Chicago or something like that. You know what I mean? You don't even live in any of the states. You don't even live in Chicago or anything, but you still want to beef with NBA YoungBoy's crew and whatever. So I feel like really more the responsibility is within itself. And not to talk too long, I know I said one more thing, but here's another thing too, right? I feel like back, and I think Jamma One, Gov, and Pops can attest, for like back in the '90s, right? And I'm not I'm not making fun of any way how you dress skills, right? But he
Nah, you
dressed
good, Chief.
like
I'm a 90s
the
nigga. I know.
he got the '90s, swag and everything like that, right? You would have a street rapper that would dress like Skills. He has the whole Tim's, he has the bucket hat and everything, but his message is different. In each generation, there's a standard for street music. There's a standard for R&B. There was a standard for conscious rap, right? Back in the 90s and 80s, because 80s had their little street music, right? There was a standard. There was some education. You know what I mean? Even by NWA, a lot of people would consider that song ignorant, but it was F the police. And it wasn't just F the police. They was telling you why they F the police, how they
Right.
felt. You know what I mean? These
Right.
days, they will say F the police, let's spin the police, I want to kill police, or the police is not letting me sell my drugs. You know what I mean? NWA's message was different. Why we say F the police? Why it was systematic oppression upon us, getting pulled over,
Mhm.
coming straight from the underground. They want to mess with a brother because I'm brown. But the message in street music is different. So yeah.
So real quick, we're gonna end it with this, and we're gonna go to the day.
I think he cut the Michaels.
We're gonna go with the De La Soul after this. I'm gonna end it with this, and if anybody want to add on before we cut to the De La Soul. So the question I'm asking: are artists responsible for the shift in the way society is moving, especially in the black community, or their hands are clean from it?
They definitely partly
No, I
responsible,
don't
but
think their hands are clean. I don't think that they are the main factor, but I do think
right.
that they are a part of it. I feel like the labels and the people that are pushing that type of music are responsible. You feel me? Like the artist, the label can't make you write a certain song. You feel me? Like they not gonna, to my knowledge, they not gonna force you to write that type of music. You feel me? But I don't know, bro. I just am
But
kind of confused because I don't understand this, and maybe somebody can enlighten me about this. But going to Morgan State and just being different places, I've seen this a lot where dudes will come from the suburbs, or they'll come from a county, they'll come from a two-parent household, and because they come from a more affluent background, they feel like they missed out on the real experience. You feel me? So they come to these colleges and they try to prove a point. Dudes who have never been to a hood want to start claiming sets. They want to start selling drugs. They want to start doing things because they feel like they missed out on a chance to be down. And it's like it's really offensive to people that really come from those things, because it's like we came here to get away from that, and you're coming here to do that.
Right.
You feel me? And it just doesn't make sense to me. And
Look
it's
at the
it's
look.
it's really offensive, to be honest with you. But I just feel like that's part of it too, is because there's a lot of people that didn't grow up seeing that, who listen to the music, and then they want to start living that. And it's like, what are you listening to that make you think that that's what you should want to do?
It
You
looks
look.
like
You said I'm gonna let you cook go. You said the key word down. Look at the key word down. Not to rise up. You want to be down, so you're going to be down. You're going to be
right.
put down one way or another, in the grave or in jail. Go ahead, girl.
But it's like that image, the imagery is like what toughness is in a way. You know what I mean? So the suburban kid is looking like they coming into the situation where the fellow dudes and the women, right? They not looking at them as being quote unquote, well, he's not that guy per se. He's just, that's the nerd dude or something like that, to that effect. So there's that part of it where you kind of look down on, you're not quite black enough if you're not hood. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like that thing aspect of it. So I see a lot of people try to jump into that. I remember seeing the same thing in Morgan, same thing. They would be straight out the suburbs. But then when it came on campus, then all of a sudden they was heart of the city. I was the one that ran this block, that block. You know what I mean?
You think it's a survival mechanism too?
In a way, because it's like that's what the attention looks like it comes to. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like back in them days, like fly guy, the fly girls. You know what I'm saying? So who was attracting them? You know what I mean? So they wanted those type of dudes. So then a lot of dudes would put on the costume and try to be that type of dude. And then a lot of them got themselves where they ended up in some real situations, you know what I mean, as a result, and they didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
That's why I was saying earlier. It's like a part of it is like you got to look at, like, it's easy to, like, when it comes to the type of music, yes, market incentives that reward spectacle over nuance and introspection and stuff like that, and algorithms that boost content that reflects that same spectacle and conflict and so on and so forth, right? That is something, yeah, organizationally, industry wide, that they're responsible for. But personal responsibility comes down to, as a society, that's what we want. We think that is, and it's for numerous reasons, but we think that's manly. We think that's what women should be, and so on and so forth. And until we're willing to look inward and look at what part do we have as Black people in our condition, because I'm not saying that sexuality, hypersexuality, and violence doesn't exist in other music and cultures, but sometimes looking at our music particularly, it's extreme. It's
Our
abnormal.
culture runs the world. So you got to take that into consideration too. Like everything starts from black culture, meaning like however society shifts is due to black culture. And
Right,
you see
right.
that throughout the world. So again, I think it's just a mindset of uh, uh, um, you know, what's this how our society is going to change when we when we start looking at scholars and stop looking at entertainers as inspiration, when the men and when we bring back family unit, marriages, taking that seriously, whether it's polygyny or otherwise, when we start taking family values and start picking up books and looking at education is a must, and not only that, but black education is a must. When we start looking at, when we stop being less entertained and you know, the world will look at us and we will look at ourselves more seriously. It's not enough serious people around. And all the clowns are you know, presenting a circus to us, and we're just sitting there brainwashed and entertained. So when black people start being more serious about themselves and less of a clown show, start protecting ourselves and learning one another, the world will
The volcano from out of Iceland, they come to take over the rap game like the white man. Hiller than Hitler, photobomb and Yahoo, ready bomb missile. Watch me do it like the Pointer Sisters. Slip arsenic in your corn liquor. Two bigger L's than the Aubrey nigga. From Pappy Mason to Pastor Mason, the church is vacant. I'm preaching with Bobby, trapped in the basement. I'm laughing, just imagine the sleepy beauty